Hello everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is The Inspiration Show. Today on the show we're actually going to be talking about a very vital component when it comes to creating any kind of reality or life that you want, and that is action. Because the best visualizations we could have on the planet don't really help us if we're not out at the right place at the right time and taking some kind of action and creating momentum towards our goals. So we have an expert in the realm of action with us today, Pete Winiarski. Please help me welcoming Pete to the show. How are you, Pete?
I'm great, Natalie. Thank you so much for having me with you today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. It's good to see you again. Pete actually is a really good friend of mine, and he has an awesome book that's just out recently, which is tackling the whole subject of action and the three different types of action that we should be taking. So I'm going to delve into that in a second. But before we do that, Pete, why don't you tell us your story? Like, how did you get into doing this kind of work?
Yeah, absolutely. And then action itself is a byproduct of what our goals are in the first place, and what is it that we dream about, as you know so well. And the whole point of the roots of this came from my time in the business world and in corporate America, and having this interest always of how do you incorporate personal development into what it is we're doing. And so I got really involved in some of Jack Canfield's work, which was interestingly about the time that the Secret came out, and all of the visualizing and things that came from there. Some of these stories really you start to hear over and over again and realize, hey, there's something to them. So what I do now with all of this is I found a way to blend the business world and the personal development world together in this really exciting way. And action is one of those things that just really is something you can get your arms around, because it's not about sitting on the couch watching TV and dreaming up your goals and wondering why nothing has changed. It's the action that you take as a result.
Absolutely. So were you working in corporate? Did you have your own business? Like, how did you get the idea to marry the two of these principles together?
Yeah, I was in a corporate environment for a long time, and the point here was that as I grew through a variety of different roles in that corporate world, and then moved over into, I was with McKinsey Consulting, which is a big consulting firm. We're doing a lot of change and big organizational change programs and processes and improvements, and you would bump up against people's beliefs, or you would bump up against people struggling to understand, well, how am I going to pull all of this off? Corporate expectations are super high, right? And so some of the things that I would do on a personal basis is I would read different inspirational books or personal development books or goal achievement books side by side with the business books that I would be reading and the things that I was doing out there in the world. I just recognized that if some of these folks would just open up their perspectives and take the opportunity to jump in and try some of these other methods, that their lives would actually become a lot easier. So that's where that came in. And of course, in a consulting role, I was with McKinsey for 5 years before I went back into the corporate role as an executive, and then finally started my own business. And as a person with my own consulting business, now I've got the opportunity to really shape how we present to our clients to help them out. And we weave these two things in right from the very beginning.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and that's the thing. When you can marry these principles with your everyday life, it's amazing how easy everything becomes, and how
That's right.
you flow into your workday, and how much happier you are, because you've got these life principles as well as what you're having to achieve at work. So let's get into action. I alluded before that there are three different types of actions that you advocate that we should be taking towards our goals. So what's the first type of action we're talking about?
Yeah, so it starts with a planned action. If you think of what is it that I know I need to do, you write out your to-do list. Well, let me edit that briefly and say that it's not just your to-do list where you remember, oh, I have to pick up milk on the way home from the store today. What I'm talking about is, what are those goals that you have, and what are the steps that you would put and write into an action plan? And now decide simply, today, what will I do that is aligned with the actions that I already know that are part of my action plan that are going to get me there? What will I do today? So those are the planned actions that I would like you to take on a daily basis. Whatever they might be, march slowly towards your goal.
Yeah. So, and I think too, there is, because sometimes we have our to-do list is like massive. And I think a lot of the things that we have on our to-do list aren't specific to moving towards our goal. So is there a way that you prioritize the list?
Yeah, well, I like to actually keep a very specific list of 5 things today that are towards the goals specifically. You can do other things. In fact, we all have very, very busy lives, and I need to write things down. If I get that phone call from my wife that says, please stop on the way home and pick something up at the store, if I don't write it down, I'm going to get home and I'm going to have forgotten if I'm not careful. So I know that it's a intervention that works for me to help me. But the idea of crossing those types of items off the list while feeling busy and feeling good about progress doesn't really help towards the side of the list which is really critical towards the goals that you set. So if you have a goal to write a book, you'd better find time to sit down and start writing. Because if you do everything but write, you're not going to get any closer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's the first type of action. So that's our planned action. So what's the next type?
Yes, now this is really fun. It's the daily habits. These are all of those proven success habits and things to do on a daily basis. It's the brushing your teeth for goal achievement. We all know to brush our teeth, and we do it at least once a day, hopefully 2 or 3. But the point is we're doing it because it's just part of what we do because we know it's a healthy thing to do for us as people. What are those healthy things to do for our goal achievement? Visualizing your goals, saying your affirmations. It includes things like reading and exercising, because holistically from a person we're able to stay healthy and have a high level of energy and learn more. Meditating and journaling, going inside and closing out the outside world, which helps you then to focus and stay calm, and it raises your intuition, and just everything starts clicking on a daily basis. Using tools like mind movies is a wonderful way to do this. So anyone out there who hasn't ventured into the mind movies world, now's your chance to just know that it's the right thing to do, because it makes it fun and easy to do some of these things on a daily basis. So all of those daily habits, the idea of daily, build them into your routines. It doesn't take a lot of time, but build them in, because that will enable magic to happen for you.
Absolutely. And when you can combine some of those things together, like I listen to my books on audio as I'm exercising in the morning.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Couple them together, so you don't have to just and like you said, it doesn't take that long. And even when you talk about meditation, or I say connection to source or whatever that is, that could be like a 5 or 10-minute walk out in a park at lunchtime. Yes. It doesn't necessarily have to be sitting down with your eyes closed and getting into some Zen position. It could be as much time as you have. And I think also with this it's figuring out what time of day is best. Like I can't meditate first thing in the morning. My brain is so active, and I'm getting all these downloads, and it's like I have to, which is why I get up and exercise as well first thing, because my brain is just going the whole time. I have to wait till mid to late morning before I can even start to think about meditating. So.
Oh, good that you figured that out. Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so third type of action.
Now this is where the absolute best thing could happen is you get that bing, that light bulb goes off. The cartoon light bulb over your head? Well, it's the light bulb moment that comes to us that allows us to take then inspired actions. So we have the goal in the first place, and we create our action plan, and we have these therefore planned steps that we take. So that's giving us some focus and clarity in the first place. And then we do these daily habits, which is reinforcing and creating this environment so that we can actually succeed and succeed faster and more quickly and more easily, because things will start to happen for us on our behalf. We'll recognize opportunities, and yes, there is this magnetic attractive pull that does happen when you set up that environment. Now, the way that it happens a lot of times for a lot of people is you get that idea, that moment of inspiration, that intuitive hit. All of a sudden you get this little voice that makes a suggestion to you. You want to be able to hear it, and the daily habits help you to clear your mind of some of the clutter. That's where meditation and journaling comes in. Exercising, as you said, in the morning, because your brain's going. You got to find a way to calm it down and put yourself in a place where later, mid-morning, when that idea is ready to hit you, you're ready to hear it. Well, all of that is great. However, the $1 million idea is not worth a darn thing if you don't take action. And we all get that proverbial $1 million idea every day. Really, every day, some really cool insight is going to come to us. And whatever it is, lean into it, see what happens, follow it down its path. Certainly, sometimes these are big deals. Well, at least write it down so that you remember to schedule it in and take that inspired action tomorrow or the day after, but do it soon, because it's going to make a difference for you. It's a gift, and even if you don't know exactly what's going to come of it, trust it and learn to trust by practicing this over and over, and then just watch as the results start to just rain down into your lap.
Yeah, no, I love that. Glenn, he did a thing called the Hoffman process just recently.
Yes.
So he started to meditate and had these little practices where he is quiet and gets present in the moment. He was saying to me, he goes, so wait a minute, he goes, from a very logical point of view, because he's a very logical guy, and he's like, so when I'm quiet long enough, and I'm doing these things like the little meditations and stuff, he goes, what I'm doing is just trying to quiet all the thoughts that are going on so that I can actually hear the answer that I've been thinking about, that I already know that's in my mind. He goes, so my mind's quiet long enough to be able to hear that answer or get that idea. And I'm like, bingo.
Yes, bingo.
Sometimes when you are quiet long enough, then the inspiration comes from outside of you as well. So do you have some ideas of how people can do that? How to sort of drop in and be present?
Yes, I absolutely. It starts with, frankly, taking a deep breath. And it can be as simple as that. As you said, get out of the environment and go for a walk if that's what works for you. You could sit right where you are and just sit up tall and close your eyes and just think of nothing. Think of absolutely nothing. And just watch your breath in and out. And that's, the meditation teachers that I've had always start there, because it is a simple way to regain some focus. There's plenty of great audios that are out there and available in the world that you can put on and listen to. I love some of the guided visualizations, because Natalie, my mind does tend to go off, running down some path, and I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be meditating here, and I'm thinking about all these things. Deep breath. Just listen, close your eyes and listen, and go on the little visual journey that some of these masters have already created for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing. It doesn't, again, it's not like you have to sit there for 5 minutes. That can be just sitting in a moment. Like, I find that when I'm like a little bit stressed and getting overwhelmed, I'm just like, okay, calm down. And I have a little sign, which you can't see, which is behind the camera here, that says center yourself. And it reminds me that just to push myself back from the desk, just put my hand over my heart and I take 5 deep breaths. It takes me like a minute or two to do that. And then it's enough for me to calm myself down, calm my freaking out brain down, so that it's like it's easy for me to come back. And that's when I can hear, oh yeah, well, maybe I should be doing it this way. Maybe I should look at it this way, the idea that comes to me.
Yeah. And then you have to act on it.
Absolutely. And trust it. I think it's the trusting thing as well, don't you think?
Yeah, very, very much. In fact, at first, you're going to get an idea and you're saying, oh, this can't possibly be right, and you'll doubt it. Well, this is where trust builds over time, because you'll listen to the voice. You'll listen to your idea, and you'll take action on it. It's like, whoa, that worked. Or even if it didn't work, I'm still alive, right? Nothing bad happened. It's still good. And it will build, and trust will build over time. And as you get into the practice, these are all practices. As you practice taking the inspired actions, it's like this, the magnitude of what you get for benefit will grow, which is really kind of exciting.
Absolutely. And especially if you're one of these people that are going, you know what, I knew that it was going to turn out this way, or I knew I shouldn't have done that. If you're one of those people and you had the hit beforehand, get into that space of like really surrendering and going, okay, well, maybe I should really listen to that.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Pete, we have run out of time, and our shows go so quickly. It's like, and this is such an awesome subject, and you and I could talk forever.
Yes.
But if we want to send people somewhere to work with you, because you don't just do corporate clients now, you work with individuals as well.
Yeah, that's right. So we have the opportunity across the whole spectrum of small business all the way up to big. So the home website is completebusinesstransformation.com, and so anyone who's in a business role, corporate all the way to individual entrepreneurs, there's a place for you in here.
Great, awesome, and they can find the book through there as well.
Yes, the book is there, and very specifically for the book, Act Now, a daily action log for achieving your goals in 90 days, dailyactionlog.com.
Perfect. Pete, thank you for joining me today, my friend. It's so good to see you again. Thanks.
Thank you, Natalie, for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Pleasure.
Take care.
Thank you. Now, guys, I encourage you to share this video. You can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. Also, if you click on the banner to the side, if you're online, or the banner underneath, if you're on the app, you can go straight through to Pete's website from there, so make sure you do that and check that out. And make sure that you leave your email in the box on this page so we can send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course. It's actually valued at $87, and I would love to send it to you for free. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.